Hello everyone, welcome to Site Programming channel. Myself this is Sachiram Kumar, belongs to Department of IT, first BTech. In this video, I am happy to discuss about insertion sorting. Insertion sorting is a simple sorting algorithm that works similar to the way you sort playing cards in your hands. The array is virtually split into a sorted and an unsorted part. The values from the unsorted part are picked and placed at the correct position in the sorted part. Characteristics of an insertion sorting are: this algorithm is one of the simplest algorithm with simple implementation. Basically, insertion sort is efficient for small data values. Insertion sort is adaptive in nature, that is, it is appropriate for data sets which are already partially sorted. Let us see an example. I have an array of naming ARR with maximum size 5 which is containing an elements 5, 7, 4, 1, 3. Let us sort this array using insertion sort. Allocation 0. The memory allocation of the elements in the array ARR are in the indexes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. The elements are 5, 7, 4, 1 and 3 are stored respectively. Now I will initialize I with 1, then after I will copy the element in I index to the temp. Then after I will initialize j with I minus 1. That means now j is at 0 index. Now I have to check the condition whether the element in j index is greater than the temp or not. If the condition is true, I have to insert the element in j index to the j plus 1th index. If the condition is false, I have to insert the temp in j plus 1th index. Now let us see how it will work. Now I initialized I with 1. That means I have to copy the element in first index to the temp. Now the temp is equal to 7. Then after I will initialize j with I minus 1, that is at 0 index. Now let us check the condition whether the element in j index is greater than the temp or not. Now here 5 is greater than 7. It's a false condition. That means what I have to do? I have to insert the temp in j plus 1th index. That means at first index. After inserting, here it looks like. Here I can say that an iteration is successfully completed. How I am saying that an iteration is successfully completed? If the element in j index is greater than temp, if it became false, then I can say that an iteration is completed. Or else you have another condition to check. If the j is less than 0, after decrementing j, if it less than 0, an iteration is completed. So after completion of this iteration, these elements are going to be taken for the next iteration. So that means in the iteration 1, the elements in the indexes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 are 5, 7, 4, 1 and 3. Now I will increment I. That means after completion of every iteration, I will increment I. But in every iteration, I will decrement j continuously until and unless j less than 0. So after incrementing, I is at second index. Now what I have to do? I have to copy the element in I index to the temp. After copying, temp is assigned with 4. Now I will initialize j with I minus 1. That is j is at first index. Now I have to check the same conditions whether the element in j index is greater than the temp or not. Now let us check. Here the element in j index is 7 and temp is 4. Here 7 is greater than 4. That means the condition is true. Now what I have to do? I have to insert the element in j index to the j plus 1 index. After inserting, here it looks like. In the second index the element is 7 and in first index also the element is 7. Now I just decremented j. Now j is at 0 index. Again I have to check the same condition whether the element in j index is greater than the temp or not. Here the element in j index is 5 and the temp is 4. Here 5 is greater than 4. That means the condition is true. Then what I have to do? I have to insert the element in j index to the j plus 1th index. After inserting, here it looks like. In first index the element is 5 and in 0th index the element is 5. Now here we can say that an iteration is completed. That means what I am saying is if j less than 0, that means here j is equal to minus 1, then what I have to do? That means the condition is false. Remember one thing, I am checking the two conditions whether the element in j index is greater than the temp or not, and the other condition is j is less than 0. That means if the condition in the j is less than 0 is true, then I will stop the iteration and I will simply copy the temp. That means I will insert the temp in j plus 1th index. After inserting, here it look like. In 0 index the element is 4 and in first index the element is 5. As we know that j is minus 1 and j plus 1 is 0. That means that's why I inserted the temp in 0 index. Now these elements are going to be taken for the next iteration. In the iteration 2, the elements in the indexes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 are 4, 5, 7, 1 and 3 are stored respectively. Remember the thing that after completion of every iteration, I am incrementing I. In the previous iteration, I is at second index. Now in this iteration, I is at third index. Now then after I have to copy the element in I index to the temp. That means temp is equal to 1. Again I have to initialize j with I minus 1 and I have to check the same conditions whether the element in j index is greater than temp or not, and another condition is j is greater than or equal to 0 or not. Now here the temp is equal to 1 and the element in j index is 7. Here 7 is greater than 1. That means the condition is true. Then what I have to do? I have to insert the element in second index to the third index. After inserting, here it look like. In second index the element is 7 and in third index also the element is 7 and I just decremented j. Now j is at 1 index. Again I have to check the same condition whether the element in j index is greater than the temp or not. Here the element in j index is 5 and the element in 1 index is in the iteration 2. The elements in the indexes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 are 4, 5, 7, 1 and 3. Now remind one thing, after the completion of the every iteration I am incrementing I. In the previous iteration I is at second index, now I is at third index and I have to copy the element in I index to the temp. Now the temp is equal to 1. Then I have to initialize j with I minus 1. Now the j is at second index. So let us check the same conditions whether the element in j index is greater than temp or not and j is greater than or equal to 0 or not. Here the element in j index is 7 and the temp is 1. So here 7 is greater than 1, that means it satisfying the condition. Then what I have to do? I have to insert the element in j index to the j plus 1th index. After inserting, here it look like. In third index the element is 7 and in second index also the element is 7. Then after I am just simply decrementing j. Now j is at first index. Now I have to check the same conditions whether the element in j index is greater than temp or not. Now here the element in j index, that means at first index the element is 5 which is greater than the temp, that is 1. Now I have to insert the element in first index to the second index. After inserting, it look like. Now then after I am decrementing j. Now j is at 0 index. Now in 0 index the element is 4 and the temp is 1. Here 4 is greater than 1, that means it is satisfying the condition. Then what I have to do? I have to insert the element in 0 index to the first index. After inserting, here it look like. Here we can say that an iteration is completed because after inserting I have to decrement j. After decrementing j, now here j is equal to minus 1, that means the condition j greater than or equal to 0 becomes false. Then I have to insert the temp in j plus 1th index, that means in 0th index. After inserting, it look like. Now these elements are going to be taken in the next iteration. In iteration 3, the elements in the indexes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 are 1, 4, 5, 7 and 3 are stored respectively. Now I am incrementing I. Now I is at 4th index. Then I have to check the same conditions. Before going to check the conditions, I have to copy the element in I index to the temp. Now the temp is equal to 3. Now j is initialized with I minus 1. Now the j is at third index. Now we have to check the condition whether the element in J index is greater than the temp or not. Here the element in J index is 7 and the temp is 3. Where 7 is greater than 3, that means it is satisfying the condition. Then what I have to do? I have to insert the element in third index to the fourth index. After inserting, here it look like. Then I am decrementing J. Now J is at second index. After decrementing, the element in J index is 5 and the temp is 3. Now I have to check the condition whether the element in J index is greater than 3 or not. That means 5 is greater than 3 or not. Here it satisfies the condition. Then I have to insert the element in second index to the third index. After inserting, here it looks like. Then I have to decrement J. Now the J is at first index and the element in first index is 4. Here 4 is greater than 3, that means it is again satisfying the condition, that is J element is greater than temp. After satisfying the condition, I have to insert the element in first index to the second index. So after inserting, here it look like. Now we have to decrement J. Now J is at 0 index. Now the element in 0 index is 1 and the element in temp is 3. Here 1 is not greater than 3, that means the condition, that is the element in J index is not greater than temp. Now what I have to do? I have to insert the element temp into the J plus 1th index, that means here in first index. After inserting, here it looks like. Now we can say that finally the iteration is completed because the condition, that is the element in J index is greater than temp, becomes false. So total iterations are completed. Now let us see the algorithm for this. In step 1, I am going to start. In step 2, I am reading array of maximum size 50 and size. In step 3, I am reading the elements in the array. Where in step 4, I have to initialize I with 1. Then after I have to check the condition whether the I is less than size minus 1 or not. If the condition is true, I have to move to 6th step. Where in 6th step, I am copying the element in I index to the temp. And I have to move to 7th step where I am initializing J with I minus 1. Then after I am checking the conditions whether J is greater than or equal to 0 and another condition is the element in J index is greater than temp or not. If both the conditions are true, then I have to move to 9th step. Where in 9th step I am inserting the element in J index to the J plus 1 index. Then after I have to decrement J with 1. Then I have to move to 8th step. That means I have to move back to the 8th step. And again check the condition whether J is greater than or equal to 0 and the element in J index is greater than temp or not, until and unless the condition in 8th step fails. Once the condition fails, we will move to 11th step. Where in 11th step I am inserting the temp in J plus 1 index. Then after I have to increment I. After incrementing, I have to move back to the step 5. Where in step 5, I have to check the condition whether I is less than size minus 1 or not, until and unless the condition in step 5 fails. Once it fails, I have to move to 13th step. Where in 13th step, I am printing after sorting the elements in the array R, and move to 14th step where we have to print the elements in the array, and we have to move to the last step, that is step 15, stop. Here is the program for insertion sorting. Have a look on it. Now let us execute this program. So this is the program. This is the main function. Now I have to run it. So it is asking me to enter the size of the array. I entered 5 and it is asking me to enter the elements in the array. I am entering 1, 6, 3, 2 and 8. It printed that before sorting the elements are 1, 6, 3, 2, 8. After sorting 1, 2, 3, 6, 8. That means it printed an ascending order. Thanks for watching. If you have any doubts or if you need any concepts, let us know through comments. Please like, comment, share and subscribe for more videos. Thank you.